Coming up on Cardinals Insider, Paul DeJong is having a bounce-back season.
Like, enjoying the mystery and the drama of the game is so fun right now, and I think that's what propels and gives me my best performance.
Plus, Caleb Wainwright steals the spotlight from his dad.
Winning baseball, yeah. You want me talking that? Ozzie, I'm sorry. Test, 1, 2, 3.
And later, catch up with two-time pennant winner Daniel Descalso.
I mean, some guys play for 10, 12 years, never get to the postseason, never get to a World Series. I knocked it out in my first year, so I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. We do this every year, right?
Those stories and more ahead on Cardinals Insider. Welcome to Cardinals Insider. Hi, I'm Ozzie Smith. Paul DeJong has had his ups and downs in recent years, but in 2023, he's rebounded, proving to be an important piece of the Cards lineup. Let's hear more from Paul on his resurgence.
Swing, fly ball, belted left center. There's number 14 for the lead.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of fun to be back. Having the confidence and faith from the top down really allowed me to explore these new options and for me to be able to genuinely change and do something different. And I owe a lot to the hitting coaches that have helped me along the way. The guy I worked with every day was Dan Nicolaizen. He's now on our staff, and I think working with BA and Turner as well, just on like other facets of my game, kind of the mental side, like how to approach certain pitchers, how to scout things, coming up with my mental plan. So it was a team effort, but I think it was just a willingness to change and do something different because it's adapt or die, and so I was happy to do what I did, and I'm thankful that I'm showing that I can still be a good player like I always knew I could.
Fly ball center, Wiener going back, still going, track, wall, she is gone!
For me, it goes back to my pregame work, what I've done before the game, and allowing myself to go out there and play the game as opposed to treating the game like practice where things can get a little too analytical, a little too mechanical, you move like a robot, whereas the improvisation, the drama of a baseball game, whatever can happen, is so exciting, and it deserves to have that kind of viewed in the moment. Enjoying the mystery and the drama of the game is so fun right now, and I think that's what propels and gives me my best performance.
And there's a shot hammer deep left field at the track wall, into the bullpen. 4 RBIs on the afternoon for the Cardinals shortstop.
I really appreciate and value this organization and the opportunities that they've given me, and I'm thankful to be back with this team, with my friends, my teammates that I've known for years, the staff. I just realize now how important it is the brotherhood that we share, the fraternity that is Cardinals baseball, and I'm just super happy to play every day and wear this uniform.
Earlier this season, Adam Wainwright's son, Caleb, joined him at the podium for a post-game press conference. And needless to say, Caleb stole the show.
Having him with me makes the seasons go shorter and makes the time spent, just especially now. I love my daughters, but I never was able to bring them in the clubhouse after games. So I wanted to hang around. One of the biggest reasons I wanted to hang around and play a little bit longer was so I could, hey, what are you doing? Was so I could bring him in the clubhouse. And hopefully he remembers that, after we win. And, our tunnel, you don't want to be in that tunnel sometimes. What? Hey, don't talk while I talk, okay? But he does. Yeah. To your point, he brings a lot of energy to our team. He does. And he's a great person to have in there. And you want me talking that? Ozzie, I'm sorry. Test 1, 2, 3.
Straight ahead on Cardinals Insider, Daniel Descalso talks about his time in St. Louis.
That's all I ever wanted to be, was be known as a winning player, and that's what I want to be remembered as, a guy that was a winner and that was ready to play every day.
That's after the break. Daniel Descalso spent half of his 10-year big league career with the Cardinals, including a World Series championship in 2011 and a National League pennant in 2013.
It's fun to be back in St. Louis. Getting off the plane, a couple people, recognize me in the airport and just, they say thank you for 2011, and then just being down by Ballpark Village and all the fans walking around yesterday before the game. It's just a great place for Cardinal Nation to come and hang, and it's always fun being back. Got to go to the game last night and just experience Busch Stadium from a different perspective. I mean, some guys play for 10, 12 years, never get to the postseason, never get to a World Series. I knocked it out in my first year, so I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. We do this every year, right?
Back is Craig. What a team. What a ride. The Cardinals are world champs.
And I was lucky, being a Cardinal, my first 4 years here, or my 4 years here, we went to the NLCS, every year. So got spoiled playing for a winner, playing for an organization that prioritizes winning, and to be able to get that ring in my first year is really cool. And just to have a close group of friends and teammates that you could kind of, lean on when things were going bad, and even when things were going good. We had a lot of late nights, long talks, and then getting to the big leagues together, sort of that support system as young players, trying to establish ourselves, having each other to go to, kind of navigate that route of becoming a big leaguer. It was really special for us. As a young player, especially a rookie, you just want to kind of establish yourself and prove to the coaching staff and the veteran guys that you can be a valuable part of the team, and then you can contribute to a winning ball club. And so from day one, I just wanted to prove to everybody that I was going to show up ready to play every day, and that I was a winning player. And that's all I ever wanted to be, was be known as a winning player, and that's what I want to be remembered as, a guy that was a winner and that was ready to play every day. At the time I got drafted, they were moving players pretty aggressively. If you did well at one level, they weren't scared to force you up to the next level and kind of see how you did there. So from that perspective, I just kind of wanted to keep working my way up and establish myself at one level, not worry about getting called up to the next one, but just do my thing and know that if I took care of business, I was going to get promoted. And so set my goal of trying to move up a level every year, and I was able to do that. And then 2010 get the call to the big leagues, which is every kid's dream, and got to live out my dream for the next 10 years.
Coming up, stories on stories. Claves and Fast Eddie remember Mike Shannon. That's later on in the show.
Mike Shannon had as much impact on me as a person outside of my parents as anybody I've ever known.
Lucan Baker is tearing it up at AAA Memphis. As of late May, he was hitting over 300 and leading all minor leaguers with 14 homers. That makes him the subject of this week's Farm Report.
I love the triumphs that you get in baseball, because it is one of the hardest things to do, especially hitting a baseball it's really difficult. So whenever you do something well in baseball, you've earned it. And I love playing the game. It's the game I've always loved. It was the game when I was 12 years old. My dad, he stopped taking me to the cage, and I noticed a week later and said, "Hey, why aren't we going to the cage?" He said, "Well, I'm waiting for you to see if you want to do it or not." And that's when I knew I loved it. It's sort of hard to put it into words. I just love playing. Failure, that's a big word. I've had my fair share of it in my time in professional baseball. It's made me better at life in general. You're not always going to play well. You're not always going to have a great day, but whenever you come back, you have more bats the next day. You have another opportunity the next day. And the older I've gotten, the more at-bats and games that I've played and the more failure I've had, the more I've matured in that regard of, even though it's not great now, come back and be better tomorrow.
Another Baker blast.
Well, I have one walk-off home run. It was in Double-A in Springfield, 2021. I was having a rough week that week, so it was it was like get a monkey off your back type swing. It felt like I was 0 for the century when you just talk about failure. But it was, got a good pitch to hit, and it was the first ball I really connected with in a while, and that was probably one of my favorite moments.
Baseball lost one of its great voices with Mike Shannon's passing. And on a recent episode of the Chatter's Box podcast, Shannon's longtime friends Mike Claiborne and Fast Eddie sat down to share some stories about Mike.
Welcome back to the Chatter's Box podcast. My name is Kyle McClellan, your host, and today we have two guests in the studio that are going to be talking about the legendary Mike Shannon.
You know, those first 72 hours, I'm not sure if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I'd have made it.
Yeah, because we were talking every few hours.
We would check it out. And then we went to dinner one night, and I think everybody in the room saw how much fun we would have talking about him, that they want to pull up a chair and sit with us.
Right.
And to pick it back on what he said, you know, Mike Shannon has as much impact on me as a person outside of my parents as anybody I've ever known. And I think because maybe I'm older, you know, when you lose people, you know, you kind of just try and inhale the good things.
Well, I know my first spring training in Big League Camp, 2008, and I come in, and the first game I pitch in was I started against the Marlins, and so I pitched that game, and I went home, and at the time it wasn't as easy to access. I don't know how I did it, but went back and found it because I wanted to listen to him call a game. You know, you got to understand, I grew up in St. Louis listening to him my whole life.
Right.
And now here I am in the Cardinal uniform, and Mike Shannon's calling the game. And so from a local standpoint, you know, that was like, I've made it. You know, I'm close. I haven't quite made it. I'm close.
But you know, because he would forget people's names sometimes. He said, young pitcher we have from the county. And then I said, Mike, his name is Kyle McClellan. Oh yeah, Kyle McClellan from the county. That's how he would just bring it together. And you're right. If you were a local guy, he would make sure that everybody knew that he's one of us. He's a St. Louis guy.
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for sharing the stories, and thank you for tuning into the Chatter's Box podcast. You can listen to all of the podcasts that we've done this year and going back to last year on any of the podcast platforms, and also you can watch it on the Cardinals YouTube channel. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next month.
Listen to the rest of this conversation anywhere that you get your podcasts. Just search the Chatter's Box. Full episodes are also available on YouTube and at Cardinals.com. But for now, stay with us. There's more Cardinals Insider after the break. "25 years ago, Big Mac Land appeared in Busch Stadium. And since then, a whole lot of history has unfolded in front of the now iconic section.
Runner going! There it goes! It's in Big Mac Land! Oh! He knocked out the eye in Big Mac Land! He hit the eye and it crushed it! And the ball's up in Big Mac Land! It hit Redbird's painting of the mountain! Get up, baby! Get up! Oh, yeah! It goes into Big Mac Land! I think he hit the M on Big Mac. Albert hits it out to deep left. Number 701 into Big Mac Land. Runner going. There it goes. See you later. It's in Big Mac Land. Cardinals lead.
In its 25-year history at both Busch Stadium 2 and 3, Big Mac Land has had a front row seat to some of the best baseball in Cardinals history.
Swing and get up, baby. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Home run. Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina have the record of 325 starts.
Since Big Mac Land perched itself over left field, the Cardinals have been in the playoffs an astonishing 14 times, including 10 National League Championship Series and 3 World Series.
The Cardinals are the world champions for 2006.
Perhaps it's the iconic nature of the sign. Maybe it's the shared name with a franchise icon. But either way, it's no coincidence that Big Macland has helped create some all-time great memories.
Deep one, left field. Oh! He knocked out the eye in Big Macland!
And handed out some big league caliber smiles. It also doesn't hurt that from time to time, it feeds 40,000 fans free Big Macs either.
A long one! Big Macland!
With hard hats, balloons, and visits by Ronald McDonald, over the past quarter century, the Golden Arches have come to represent a golden era in Cardinals baseball. For Cardinals Insider, I'm Brett McMillan.
On Memorial Day, Cardinals Care handed out a special grant. Here's the story.
We would like to pay tribute to Chief Warrant Officer 3, Zachary Esparza, who lost his life while participating in a training exercise on March 29th.
So we thought that it would be fitting to welcome the family and honor him and his memory and thank him and his family for the service to our country as part of our Memorial Day recognition.
Cardinals Care is making a $2,000 donation to the Vietnam Veterans of America Chapter 1028 in the name of CW3 Esparza. So please show your support as Michael Esparza heads to the mound to throw out an honorary pitch in honor of his brother, Zachary Esparza.
For the Esparza family in particular, baseball was something that they loved. Zachary grew up cheering for the Cardinals, was a huge fan. So being able to recognize him at a game was really meaningful to them. And the fact that the organization took a moment to thank him for his service and thank the family for, sharing him with us.
When we return, I'm answering one of your questions. It's Ask Ozzie, and it's up next. It's time for this week's Ask Ozzie. Kevin in Bloomington, Illinois asks, who was the kindest player you ever played against? Well, I thought about that a lot, and I had the pleasure of getting to know Phil Necro. Phil was a special person because he was very funny, a very funny guy, had a great personality, and he cared for people. And he and I got to know each other. We did a lot of things together at the Hall of Fame, and usually when things were put together at the Hall of Fame, we were asked to do it together. So I got to know him very well, and his caring for people and his compassion and his sense of humor made him one of the nicest people I ever met. Thanks for the question, Kevin. If you want to submit a question, head on over to cardinals.com/insider and click the Ask Ozzie tab. But for now, don't go anywhere. There's more Cardinals Insider after the break.
The Ted Savage Cardinals Care Golf Classic is coming to Whitmore Country Club on July 31st. Enjoy a round of golf and mingle with Cardinals celebrities, including Jason Isringhausen, Brian Jordan, and Ray Lankford, all while raising funds for charity. Registration includes golf with a Cardinals celebrity on course and pre- and post-golf refreshments, a golf swag bag, and more. Visit cardinals.com/golf to register.
This episode is debuting on Father's Day weekend. So in today's Ask a Cardinal, we ask, what's the best thing about being a dad?
The moments of quiet? No. The best thing is about being a dad is being a dad.
For me, it's probably seeing her smile, getting her to giggle is probably the best part. Obviously, I'm new at it, but getting her to smile, waking her up, and she's all fired up to wake up is probably the best feeling.
The best thing is probably when your kids just smile and come give you a hug and a kiss and just seeing that joy on their face. So it's just, brings that joy to you.
There's times that it's a little more work than play, but I think just, having happy, healthy kids and getting to play with them and enjoy that and see things through their eyes. Like you get to redo, we took the kids to Disney. You get to you look at their face and it's like you get to redo Disney and things like that for the first time. You get to relive some of those cool moments?
I think just like watching them develop. Like, you don't teach them anything, they just kind of, all of a sudden, they're like sitting up, and now all of a sudden they're laughing. Like, it's just watching that.
I think the best thing about being a dad is being able to be named dad. That's my favorite title that I have, is dad. You know, that just, there's so much responsibility. And being in sports, playing baseball for a living, a game of failure, sometimes, you know, you don't pitch a good game. Walk out into the kids' room afterwards, and they're just excited to see dad.
Man, there's so many joys about being a dad, honestly. Like, wow. You know, just the grounding effect, I guess, that my baby girl has on me. She really just neutralizes me and brings me back a little bit. You know, I'm lacking a little bit of sleep, but it honestly doesn't matter at all.
You know, one time actually my daughter told me congrats on giving up 5 runs. Congrats, Dad, on giving up 5 runs. Thanks. You know, but then maybe that's the answer, is when you get done with the game, their joy doesn't allow you to sit around and mope and pout about it. You know, you're just dad to them.
That's it for this episode. You can always catch us online at cardinals.com/insider or watch full episodes on YouTube. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you right back here next week.